Today we're going to work on a goal. And our goal for this lesson is to work on our memory skills. So our goal is to work on our memory skills. What exactly does memory mean? Our memory skills are really important to you and I. And memory skills means to remember something after it's done. So I'm doing something right now, but if I want to tell my mom about it or tell my friend about it later, that means I have to remember what I'm doing right now to tell them about it later. So memory skills means to remember something after it's done. Our memory gets stronger when we use it. Our memory gets stronger when we use it. Can our muscles get stronger when we never move, when we never use our muscles? No. And memory can be like a muscle. We have to use it and practice it for it to get stronger and stronger. This exercise that we're going to work on today for this lesson will help our memory get stronger. I'm giving you a card, a pile of cards, right here for you to look through. Do you see these pile of cards? This pile of cards, look through it. So there's a picture of a boy playing baseball. There's two girls playing on the computer. There's some toothpaste. Here's a picture of silverware, forks, knives, spoons. Here's a picture of toothbrushes in a cup. Here looks like a kitchen table. Here's a toilet. Here's some dishwashing sponges. Here's a boy playing football. Here's a roll of toilet paper. Here's a girl doing her homework or studying or writing. Here's a bar of soap like you find in a bathroom. Here's a refrigerator. Here's a green cup, a mug. Here's a boy washing a car. Here's a bathroom sink. Here's a green and white dinner plate. Here's two boys playing chess together. Here's a boy playing the violin. Here's a hair dryer. Here's a frying pan. Here's a girl reading a book in bed before she goes to sleep at night. Here's a black comb. And here's a toaster to toast toast. Now if I ask you to tell me back what those 24 cards are, could you remember to do that? Could you remember what those 24 cards were? Do you think I can remember those 24 cards? I cannot, and I don't think you could, and I think very few people could do that. So we want to what? We want to work on our memory skills so that these cards would be easier for us to remember. Now what's a possible way that we could do that? Well, a possible way that we could do that and to remember those 24 cards better would be chunking them into categories. Chunking things into categories makes memory easier. Have you ever tried that before? Have you tried chunking things together? Well, this is what we're going to work on right now today. So, if we lay out all these cards that are just 24 random cards, and we look at them to see how we could possibly chunk them together into 3 categories. You help me figure out how we could do that. And if things are in 3 categories, that's going to be a lot easier for you and I to remember what these cards are. So right now it seems like a lot of cards to remember. However, if we put these 24 cards in 3 categories, 3 categories. In these 3 categories, it would be a lot easier, wouldn't it? So look at the cards and see if you can find any pattern that they could possibly go together. Well, first of all, we have activities. I see some different activities. Do you see that? Do you see activities that people can do in their day? Like maybe playing football, maybe the girl drawing, writing, the boy playing the violin. So that could be one category. You put those all together in one category. What's a second category that you see? A second category, what do you see? What about the kitchen table, the fork, knife, spoon? What about the frying pan? I see another category of things I find in a kitchen. So here's a second category, things I find in a kitchen. Let's look back at the cards. Do you see a third category? I see a toilet, toilet paper, a bathroom sink, a hair dryer. Maybe another category could be things I find in a bathroom. So let's put that as our third category. Then let's take all these random cards, 24 cards that seemed like way too much, and let's put them in our categories. So here is something, a boy playing football, our activities. A girl writing or drawing could be activities. Girls on the computer could be activities. A girl reading before bed could be activities. A boy washing a car could be activities. 2 boys playing chess could be activities. A boy playing baseball could be activities. A boy playing the violin could be activities. Do you see any other activities? Okay, let's work on things that I find in a kitchen. Let's work on that category. Is a mug something you find in a kitchen? Yes. How about a frying pan? Yes. A dinner plate? Yes. A refrigerator? Things I find in the kitchen. How about a toaster? Yes. How about forks, knives, and spoons? Hopefully we find that in a kitchen, right? How about a kitchen table? Does a kitchen need a kitchen table? Yes. How about kitchen sponges to wash your dishes? Is that something you find in a kitchen? Yes. What's our third category? Our third category is things I find in the bathroom. Toilet, toilet paper, toothpaste, bathroom sink, hair comb, hair dryer, toothbrushes, hand soap. So now we have 3 categories. If I take these 3 categories, and I asked you to try to remember what is in one category, would that be easier for you? It would be easier for me. I think I could remember it better. So this category has a mug, dish sponges, kitchen table, silverware, toaster, refrigerator, dinner plate, and frying pan. Can you remember those 8 cards better than you could remember 24 cards? Does it help chunking and putting things in categories? Does that help your memory? It helps my memory. Memory gets stronger when we use it. So we're going to practice this pile right here for a minute. So three times, say these cards out loud and look at the pictures. Green mug, toaster, sponges, fridge, kitchen table, dinner plate, silverware, frying pan. Can you do that 3 times? Okay. If we do that with each one of these categories, do you think you could remember them easier? Will that help your memory? I think it would help me. Okay. Another way to practice these is to take these 3 categories. Now that we remember what the 3 categories are, and if we take all these cards and we turn them upside down randomly and mix them up for a fun game, once you've learned the categories, we can play a memory game and try to find matches for the 3 categories. Do you think that will help you remember your list, your cards, and make your memory stronger? I think it will. So we take these cards and we flip them over randomly, and we'll play a memory game and take turns, each of us drawing 2 cards. So if I flip this card over and I see toilet paper, and I flip this card over and I see silverware, is that from the same category? No, it's not. So I'll flip it over and we'll try again. If I see toothbrushes and I see toilet paper, are those 2 pictures in the same category, chunking together? Yes, they are. So let's put them over here in our bathroom pile, and I will get 2 cards. Whichever one of us gets the most cards in our pile will win the game. Let's try another one. Toilet, a frying pan. Are they in the same category? No, they're not. Let's try one more time. A boy washing a car, and girls on the computer. Are those 2 activities? Yes, they are. Do we put them in our categories over here, our first category of activities people can do in their day? That's great. Another way we could play this game is we can take all our cards together and we can lump them together once we're really confident with our categories and our cards, and we can roll this dice. This is a dice in dice. So you roll it, and there's a 6 dice in the middle and a 1 dice in the outside. So I roll it and I get 7. So I try to remember 7 things, 7 cards. Can I remember 7? Maybe I can. I'll try. Another thing that really helps with our memory that we can work on for this game is making lists. If I took these 3 categories, activities people do in their day, things I find in a kitchen, and things I find in a bathroom, and I made a list and wrote it down for each one of these and looked at that list, it would help me remember what things were in each category. These are all ways to help our memory get stronger when we use it, which is our goal. Can you think of a fun game we can do to help remember these cards? How does this apply to your day? You get up in the morning and some things you have to take care of in the bathroom, some things you have to take care of in your bedroom, some things you have to do in the kitchen. If we chunk those things all together and put those in categories, would it help us be more organized? If we made lists of things we had to do in the morning, will lists help you and I with our memory and to be more organized? It would help my memory so that I wouldn't forget the things that I have to take care of. I make lists, and lists can help us. This is an activity on memory skills, which is to remember something after it's done. Thank you.